we saw the story come out earlier in the week, and I didn't see any refuting on the Jon Rahm side of things. So, um, I have this kind of slideshow and video queued
Is he
up.
even allowed
Eh,
to talk?
Probably not. Probably not.
See,
That's why we're leaking information out here and talking to confidential sources and whatnot. So we'll start with this week's story that kind of led it off, and then I'll pause it and we'll talk about that and keep it moving to some of this kind of past comments. How this was very predictable. I'm going to go through comments that he made in the past and how very predictable the moment that we're in now is. Nuclear golf, you know, Jaime Diaz is a very respectable golf journalist, been in the game for a long time, has a lot of connections. So here we see he's expressing deep regret over his move to live. This is a quote. They put this in quotes, and I hate with nuclear golf. Sometimes they do some stuff, but I'm gonna take this at that this is a Jaime Diaz quote. I'm 100% positive that if John could give the money back to the Saudis and come back to the tour, he couldn't write the check fast enough. Now that only 4 times a year when he's playing that anybody is remotely interested. He thought his stature in the game was secure no matter where he was playing, and it was a bad miscalculation. I caught the tail end of the Live Golf Greenbrier today. He went into the playoff with Brooks Koepka, and the lack of, I don't know, fan excitement. Those are their two top guys. Two of their top guys in a playoff playing that par three, which I hate as a playoff. Um, Rahm ended up throwing it in the back bunker, not able to get up and down. Brooks got up, for a par to win in a one-hole playoff. Again, outside of the concept of having a playoff on a par three sucks, but again, the energy was just outside of Team Smash coming and spraying Brooks Koepka. Um, it was pretty emotionless. It was kind of whack, to be honest. So I think it's very clear that the eyes are not on CW. They're not on Live. We've talked about this. I watched live on Saturday. I was on the YouTube feed. I'm probably buffering. Yeah, I was on the YouTube feed on Saturday, and there were like 8,000 people. I've steadily, as I've joined and watched throughout the year, seeing the traction for Live Golf really fade. And for that to be a stateside event and see that low of a number, pretty poor. Yes, they were probably playing it in real time on CW, but we don't know what those ratings are anymore. But what do you think about this first part of this? And then we'll kind of keep going back to previous quotes before John left and right after. What do you think about this initial reporting?
those are big words from Jaime. I mean, that's putting that's putting a stomach full on somebody's plate right there. Um, he hasn't denied it, so I'm pretty sure it's true. But like, I don't know, bro. When you talking about 650 million, I don't know if I'd just be like, yo, like, let me write you this track for 600 million right back. I don't know. I don't know if he's saying that. I think what he's really regretting is the competition, the consistency, and probably the brotherhood of the PGA because you're traveling with the same guys. Now these guys over at the Live, they start making money. I don't need to travel in these chartered private jets together. I don't need a NetJets account. I can go on my own. I have my own jet. I have my own team. So now it's a personal thing again. There is no team involved. The only team is your team.
And that to me is we know that's a gimmick. They're not
Right,
training together and doing all
right.
kind of team building.
It's not. They're not. And you got the homies out there. I mean, you at least got Tyrrell. That's one of your Ryder Cup homies, and he's not even on the bandwagon with you. So, I so far, I mean, looking at this, I mean, it's pretty. I probably do agree with it, but You know, that's a big check to just be writing back and saying, "Yeah, I would write that back in a heartbeat." I don't know.
And I don't think he got all that money, like right off the bat either. That seems unlikely that they would just pay him the full amount and like just up front. It I
Right.
don't know. That's there's got to be some teeth in there for that amount
That's
of money.
hefty.
Yeah, it seems like, a couple of the guys got their money up front, but yeah, like you said, do you think that Jon Rahm is hanging with Kieran Vincent and that young kid Caleb Surratt outside of the week of events, that month gap between their next event? Do you think they're
No,
hanging out somewhere? No,
no.
we know this. There's no connection between these guys. So let's keep it moving. Move on to this next slide because I think all these matter, and I put them up for a reason. So I'm gonna skip to the. This is when he was in the talks with Liv initially, and they were talking about. Well, it's all valid. So Jon Rahm is in the late stage of talks to join LIV Golf, and it's believed that the holdup is not financial, but it is due to him wishing to modify the format. Any changes would need the approval of all team captains, as well as the league themselves. This making negotiations difficult, but they are intensifying. We know, based on what happened this year, that no changes were tangible and happened. Let me go to this next slide before I comment because I think it also touches on some more detail. No, I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna skip and come back. Sorry. Okay, here it is. So he says if there was ever a way where Liv could go to 72 holes, I think it would help all of this argument a lot. The closer I think we can get Liv to some other things, the better. I think it would be for some kind of unification to feed into a world tour or something like that. I don't know if I'm alone in this, but I definitely wouldn't mind going back to 72 holes. So he was saying this from the jump, and, I threw this in between. He said, this is when he moved over. I believe in the growth of the game of golf. And if I can reach a bigger audience, it would be amazing. And I believe this process would help me do that. So for him to, at this point, leak information that impact that he thought he could make on the game is not happening, that's a pretty quick turnaround. We're talking about less than 10 months of time has passed since this comment. What you say,
I
man?
mean, uh, bruh, this is like the 54 hole lead stuff, the 54 holes, the 3 days. We knew they wasn't gonna fold. That was the whole reason why they went. They not trying to play
Yeah.
more golf. They're not trying to play more golf. And there is no argument for world ranking points if you're not playing a full field event or
Uh-huh.
a 4 round event with cuts or non cuts because Tiger the Hero World Challenge, it's 30 players and it's non-cut and it's world ranking points. You know why? Because it's 72 holes.
Right.
It's 72 holes and it's feeding through a major tour. The Live is not a major tour yet. It is not connected with any major tours yet. So how are you going to get that happening? And then the captains aren't even behind it. But if you go back to that first picture or the picture where he's got the leather jacket on trying to talk about growing the game, that is a meme in itself now. You could post that up and just post that picture with him with this sly little grin. That is a meme now.
And the neck beard. That's the one thing that also.
It's so long down, like you can barely see his Adam's apple. Anyways, you're not reaching a greater audience because you're still on CW. You're not reaching a greater
Right.
audience because your audience is millennials that don't even know how to work YouTube Live, as we just discussed last week. So again, how are you going to do this without a major player in this? You thought you were the major
I,
player.
I,
It
I don't
turns
think
out
the
you were the
players
pawn.
matter. I literally don't think that the
No, no,
players
no, no, no,
matter.
no. I'm saying a major player as in like a major network or a
Oh yeah, yeah,
major.
yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be adopted by a mate. That's the only way that this gets traction. But again, if you can't make it on CW and the ratings were bad there, the
Like they need
option
to
of going elsewhere is not likely.
listen. They need to try. You know, it's probably not feasible, but they need to try to get on the backside of like the Turner Sports networks. Get you on True TV, get you on something like that, or on AMC. I don't know, but
But that's the
that's what
thing.
millennials is watching. That's what
Golf is
old white
already
people is watching.
it's already spread out because Turner, if I'm not mistaken, like they're part of USA, right? So they cover the US Open. So that
Mm-hmm.
avenue is already shut down. Even though it makes sense, that's already null and void. Um, Let me get into the last half of this little, reel here. So it's a minute and 45 seconds. Again, Jon Rahm was so definitive about why he did not think that LIV was a viable product going forward. This again comes as no surprise that we are at this moment where he's regretting this decision. When you feel convicted about something and you've spoken about it publicly multiple times, for
And then
you
you
to
switch up.
then it's weird. I mean, which one is you? But I'm glad that at least he can admit like this, I was full of shit at the end of the day. So let's play this video, and it's a minute and 45. So hang in there.
How to put this delicately, points or arguments they can make towards why they prefer it. To be honest, part of the format is not really appealing to me. Shotgun 3 days to me is not a golf tournament, no cut. It's that simple. I want to play against the best in the world in a format that's been going on for hundreds of years, right? So that's what I want to see. And yeah, money is great, but when Kelly and I, this first thing happened, we started talking about it. We're like, will our lifestyle change if I got 400 million? No, it will not change one bit. Truth be told, I could retire right now with what I've made and not live a very happy life and not play golf again. So I've never really played the game of golf for monetary reasons. I play for the love of the game, and I want to play against the best in the world. I've always been interested in history and legacy, and right now the PGA Tour has that. There's a meaning when you win the Memorial Championship. There's a meaning when you win Arnold Palmer's event at Bay Hill. There's a meaning when you win LA, Torrey, some of these historic venues. And that to me matters a lot, right? I have, after winning this past U.S. Open, only me and Tiger have won at Torrey Pines, and we're both the golf course that we like, making putts on the 18th hole, right? That's a memory I'm gonna have forever that not many people can say. So my heart is with the PGA Tour. That's all I can say. It's not my business or my character to judge anybody who thinks otherwise. And for a lot of people, I'm not gonna lie, those next 3-4 years are worth basically their retirement plan they're giving them. It's a very nice compensation to then retire and sail off to the sunset.
What a joke.
I mean, as soon as I saw that clip, my brain went to that. So as soon as I saw the news story, my brain went to that clip, and just that man couldn't have been any more clear about why he thought this was a bad idea. And then now that he actually moved over there, we did a video a few weeks ago. I think it's called Angry John is the thumbnail for it. And it's the stuff that has pissed Jon Rahm off about LIV. The drones flying around while he's playing overhead, the music playing. He's bitched about that. He's complained about fans and being loud and not shutting up when he's over a shot because that's not the audience that they want at their events. Well, that's you've asked for this alternative style of golf and you get what comes with it. It's the full entertainment. It's really not even about the golf anymore. It's just a fun product that they're pushing. So I don't know, man. This is about as predictable, or these comments are about as predictable as the sun coming up. I'll let you have the
Yeah.
last word on it.
I mean, for real. I mean, you pull out your bullet list, it's like 5 or 6 points deep where he's just like, you switched up on this, you switched up on this. Apparently, money does matter to you that much to where you would switch. The format isn't that important, apparently, because you did the switch. And then apparently, there's events on Live that are way more historic and have way more value to your legacy of what you got going on in the golf game than what they have going on in the PGA. You just keep going down the list, and it just keeps the retraction is just incredible. It truly is. Yeah, bruh. I mean, he has the little smirk going with the retirement plan comment at the end. We already knew that. We already knew that. Ian Poulter knew that. Lee Westwood knew that. Phil knew that. DJ knew that. What you talking about? What are
Richard
we
Bland
saying?
knew that. Richard Bland
Right.
was a middling DP World Tour player, and here he is having the best years of his life on LIV. So he understood the assignment. But you
Right.
said it. He said it. I could retire today at that point. And this
And
video
be
is
good.
almost 2 years at this
Yeah,
old. That's almost 2 years
2022.
old. And he's, yeah, man. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
It's so
2022
frustrating.
he said that. A joke, bro. It's just
All
funny. It's
right.
funny, really. It's not even worth getting mad about anymore because of the switch up. You literally said all this stuff, and all you got to do, if he tries to rebut anything, just put up the clip, or like I said, put up the meme. That's the only rebuttal you need. It's the same thing with people that try to talk noise on the Cowboys. Well, when's the last time you won? It don't matter. I won. Well, it's the same thing with Rahm. I said it, but I already done got caught up. I'm already lied. It's the same thing. You know what? Let
Right.
me not get too hot. Let me not get too
You
hot,
getting you get you getting you getting you getting hot under the collar.
Ron.
Let's see here. Maybe in hindsight, he has reconsidered his choices. Sometimes it takes a few months/years to come to a conclusion and see the other side of things. Well, I mean, yeah,
Mom,
it's a few months. It's a few
mom,
months.
Liv was around for like a year and a half before he made this decision. Liv was well into its second season before he came over or even was talking about this in 2022. I mean, I definitely get it when you see in a different perspective of it and everything, but he had a long time to think about this. And he had a lot of offers that he had to say no to before he finally said yes. And I believe Rory and Tiger and all them guys and Scotty and Jordan and JT, I believe they're still saying no because they're still trying to get names on board to get this tour going. They're still
Yeah,
doing that. So I don't think that's the right excuse, Ma. That's all I'm gonna say. I get
and
what you're
I
saying, but I don't think that's
no,
the excuse here.
I get what she's saying, but I also know that he's stood on business very vocally for two
Right. We
years.
saw the clip.
We saw it. We saw several sound bites, clips. He was very vocal about what he didn't like about the league from a structure standpoint. So stand on the business, man. Stand on
Yeah.
business and be about your word. It's. I think this is, bringing it full circle. We hadn't talked about Rory in a while. This would be like if Rory did the same thing. There's
Right.
too much footage of Rory going directly against Liv, head up with Greg Norman, and really battering the concept of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And for him to make the switch, he's in a better situation than Rahm is from a financial standpoint. We know Rory's making backroom deals, has buku money, damn near a billionaire at this point with all of his endorsements
Yeah.
that if he was to say, oh, another 500, $800 million would like, dude, there's only, you can only have so much money. And I get it. Money is important. It does, it can make you happy 100%.
Yeah.
But I mean, how many yachts can you roll on at one time? It gets to a point
You
where
only
it's
need you
ridiculous.
can only sleep in one house. You can only drive one car. What I want to
Yeah.
have 7 cars and drive one each day. I'm out on the tour. I can't even drive them. I'm
Yeah.
going to another tournament.
And the studies show as a kind of psychological kind of thing that it doesn't matter how much, like if you said, okay, this money will last generation upon generation, the studies show that it doesn't matter how much money, there will be a point when you look at dynasties across the world where it will fall. and that
Yeah.
family will no longer be known. Look at the Rockefellers. There's a number of different American families that have ended up in that situation, British, etc. You know, UK, that have ended up where they were royalty. They had buku money forever, and then later generations ended up squandering it through fighting, through marriage of other, you know, families, etc. So you can say, "Oh, this is intergenerational money." It's not going to work out the way you think it is. The facts
Yeah.
are the facts on that. So anyway, just fucking Jon Rahm.
Money's
I,
always
I
gonna run
just
out.
it will, because you can, I don't know, like you said, you only have one butt, and one period of time where you can be in at a time. You get a lot of stuff out of this channel, y'all. A little business knowledge, you know, a little technical golf knowledge, a little BS in here and there. You're in a well-rounded environment. So
Absolutely.
hit that subscribe button, hit that membership button. We got you covered on all things golf.